say my faith now is really a daily walk with Jesus. It's fundamentally a part of everything I do on a daily basis, from prayer to meditation to my thought process to the people I'm around. It's just it's not every step, but I know He's there, and I know that He's someone that I can rely on and lean on all day, not just on Sunday, but all the way through the week. When I started this faith journey at Broadway, um, I prayed a scary prayer of, God, I don't know what my talents are. I have no idea what my talents are, but use them to help Broadway's mission. And I think that's been teased out over the past 15 years. Another thing that happened in my spiritual growth actually is Pastor Adam was anointing people at one time, and I prayed that scary prayer. I asked him, I said, help me have a daily walk with Jesus, and he anointed me, and that was a very powerful moment in my journey, because after that I felt like that triggered something happened within me where I started really relying on my faith in Jesus on a day-to-day basis, which is something that I didn't think was possible. Yeah, so I work for a biotech company, so I sell cancer medications to hospitals in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Indiana. And it's the question's a great question, because quite often it plays a role when nobody even knows that it's playing a role. I find myself quite often walking into situations where I'm praying for someone, or there's a diagnosis that's made, and even though I'm selling a monoclonal antibody, I'm still praying for those people, and I'm praying for the family, and I'm praying for the doctors and the nurses and everybody. And there's just a kindness and a tenderness to throwing that into the equation as well, and not just thinking about a patient as a number, but thinking about a patient as one of God's children. Pastor Lewis came up to me and he said, hey, we need some folks on the camera. So I became a cameraman on the live production of the 9:30 service. And before that, when Lewis approached me, I said, I have no business doing this. This is not something that I'm comfortable with, nor do I have any skills at this. And Lewis said, don't worry, I'm a scary judge of talent. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but it's actually turned into one of my favorite things that I do at Broadway. And I love being behind the camera. I love for folks who can't be at Broadway to be able to be a part of the service too. So it's a really cool experience to be a part of that and to see what goes on behind the scenes. When Alpha actually has an Alpha marriage class, and we were asked to lead that. And at the beginning, again, it was out of our comfort zone. We'd never done this before, and we asked, what's it going to look like? And we thought it would be maybe 4 couples for the first time, and it actually ended up being, I think, 70 to 80 people. We had to move it from the Cup into the Mac, and that was a real growth moment, because at the time I thought I was going to be leading around a table to leading in front of the Mac, and that was a bit nerve-wracking for someone who was just beginning their growth, and at the beginning we had to kick off with a prayer. And I'd prayed in front of my family, prayed in front of my extended family, but never in front of 80 people, and 80 people that I really didn't know. So I was a bit nervous, and I was going to take 1 week, and Andy, my wife, was going to take the second week. So I practiced into my phone. I wrote it down, and we kicked off week 1. I was very nervous. My hands were shaking, but I made it through, got back to the table, and I was finished, and I was like, okay, that was great. Okay, it's over. I'm so glad it's over. So fast forward to week 2. That's when my wife does the prayer. She's going to kick it off with prayer. And I bow my head, and she comes off with this brilliant prayer, everything about what we're going to be doing that night, and how we're blessing the folks who are in the room. And it was just impeccable. It was like she had done it 100 times. And she gets back to the table, and I said, honey, that was incredible. I mean, you were natural. She goes, oh no, the prayers are in the back of the book. So I didn't know that there was a prayer in the back of the book. I suffered through that for 7 days, and then she found out that the prayers were in the back of the book. So that's another Pro tip for anybody who's growing within Broadway, always look in the back of the book for the prayers for the Leader's Guide. They'll be there. I feel like encouragement is a spiritual gift of mine that I wasn't aware of. I think I'm a natural encourager, a natural coach. So I like to see people get from point A to point B. And I think that that's really been something that's I didn't know could be developed. And I didn't know how much people truly needed encouragement. I really didn't. I just thought that that worked in the business world. I didn't understand how much people on a day-to-day basis need encouragement.